combinability potential to get those cycles going with the pivots, with the switches, switch outs, deployed onto Amoonguss and Incineroar, but having the immediate burst damage potential from Nils' side is going to pay testament to that, but we will find out as we have game 1 of your second semi-final ready up. Flutter main with the Incineroar over on Nils' side versus the Incineroar and Amoonguss over on Jorijn's.
Yeah, really nice lead here from both players, attacking it in different ways here. We're going to see that booster energy first off activating on that Flutter main. It is going to boost this special attack on the Flutter main, making it hit a little bit harder, but it does have access to that substitute, which could keep it safe from the spores from the Amoonguss. So will Jorijn look into that, but he does have this fake out next to the Flutter main, Nils, and is able to prevent a fake out or even a spore from that Amoonguss.
It is a really nice touch to be able to be immune to fake out, get substitute. It's quite an opportune Pokemon to be able to bring against this lead, whilst if Nils does really want to, can focus onto a terrestrialization into the grass type to negate any sort of spore immediate impact going into it, which seems like it may indeed be the case. So wanting to completely nullify all of this sort of disruption potential coming out from Jorijn.
Yeah, we do see the grass terrestrialization here on Nils' side of the field, but the Amoonguss not wanting to take any damage this turn, just going for a protect here, seeing what Nils
schöner Fake-Out, schön. Ist ja... Oh mein Gott, Nils, du alter Schweinehund. Big Pepsi Dip.
At least going into this next turn.
And I think that is what Nils has identified. He wants to at least be able to not allow.
That's crazy. Jetzt kann einfach nicht mehr gespawnt werden.
He wants to get the correct setups going. He needs to make sure that the Ursaluna, if it is in the back, it is brought in before it gets put to sleep and does have that Flame Orb proc in order to completely ignore any sort of disruption impact from the Amoonguss.
Yeah, but now the Flutter main in a position where it can start putting out damage. It does have to be careful, of course, because now if we see the Incineroar on your side of the field go for a Flare Blitz potentially into that Flutter main, it would open the door then for that Amoonguss to go for the double up into that slot and then utilize the Spore once again. So Nils has to be a little bit careful, but there is the option here for going for a tier and then maybe parting shot out with the Incineroar reposition, get something in a little bit safer.
Oh, but we have the Water Terror from the Amoonguss not wanting to fall fell from that Flare Blitz focus if it does come out in combination with a Shadow Ball. But Flutter main on the defensive wants to just make sure it keeps its substitutes safe and perhaps gets another Pokemon brought in. However, Knockoff focusing onto the Incineroar does get rid of that very vital Citrus Berry, which could prove dividends later on in the game. Flare Blitz doesn't target down the now susceptible Grass Terror in Sin, and the Spore just trying to catch Nils.
Okay, ich check.
Doesn't have a lot to go on in the subsequent turn.
Yeah, really nice use of Protect there from the Flutter main, like we said. The double
up was big from you.
From Jorijn, that's exactly what we saw, and allowing the Incineroar on Nils' side of the field to get a really crucial knockoff, taking away a little bit of recovery options for the Incineroar on Jorijn's side of the field. Now looking a little bit difficult to get around this combination. Again, the double up here is still present. Now, do you keep the Flutter main in, allow it to go to sleep, or do you switch it out to maybe something like your own Amoonguss if you have brought that as an option?
There are the switch out potentials, however, none to be found in this turn. Moonblast focuses onto the Incineroar, hoping to be able to bring it down within certain range for a follow-up KO.
Aber auf -1 wird Flare Blitz halt den Dings brechen wahrscheinlich den Sub. Also der kommt nicht den Spot rum. Jetzt will das Ursaluna ohne Trick spielt. Aber das ist wichtig, weil er kann, also Hauptsache kriegt jetzt sein Dings raus. Sein Burn. Das war schon ein wichtiger Play von Nils. Jetzt ist er nämlich geburnt, jetzt kann er mich nicht mehr gesiegt werden.
The slot and maybe even force a read, but it was really nice safe switch in there. Ursaluna The Fluttermane can try to go ahead and start withering away the additional turns of sleep. But Ursaluna cannot
überlegt, glaube ich. Nee, er muss, glaube ich, kann einfach. Das Halbfinale einfach. Finale ist erst morgen.
Yeah, and now in an awkward position, the Fluttermane switching out, not wanting to take any unnecessary damage, allowing the Incineroar to come onto the field now, dropping another Intimidate onto the Incineroar on your end of the field, taking it down to -3 attack, not really
Genau, zweiter Finalteilnehmer.
but it is retreating.
Nee, Raizor, das kann man gar nicht einschätzen, glaube ich, wie die morgen halt, also wie schnell die halt vorankommen. Okay.
Taking the Ursaluna down to -1
Ha.
attack will quell
Ich
those
glaube, das
attacks
ist
for at
stark von
least a
Jorijn.
little while to allow Jorijn to get a foothold
Kein
in the
Japanese
game.
Finale, ich weiß gar nicht, ich
However,
glaube, so
there
viele.
is still the potential of a very powerful Earthquake, even though it is still at -1 of its attack, to be able to deal really good amounts of damage onto this Golden Go, given that now the Grass Terra Incin is by Nils' Ursaluna's side. We're gonna have to find out special attack increase due to the Porygon 2's download boost, but no Earthquake for Saar, dealing so much damage to hit KO onto an EV-like Porygon 2 whilst at -1 attack. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a big bit of damage coming onto the Porygon 2, and really nice spot there from Nils, utilizing the Ursaluna perfectly there. Not going into the Amoonguss, thinking maybe if the Goldingo does come in there, it's a bit of a wasted turn. Going into that Incineroar instead to make sure you get some good damage, and that's exactly what happened. The Porygon 2 in a little bit of an awkward spot here. Does it outspeed the Ursaluna? Is it able to get...
Es waren nur 3 Japaner dort. Und der schlechteste Japaner ist 3-3 Drop gegangen und das ist Shohei, weißt du, wer Shohei ist? Hat gegen Michi Worlds gewonnen.
Oh.
Er ist 3-3 gedroppt.
Oh, damn.
Also Roger Rainbow.
It really doesn't, but we do have that great
Nee,
potential.
der Trailer hat er nicht mehr
Golden
nehmen.
Go would have said, but no fake out.
Genau, er muss erst
The
noch werden.
Incineroar actually outspeeds, knocks the choice specs out, 2 hit KO guaranteed, and make it rain, not
knockoff
dealing
auch
anywhere near as much
zubekommen, ne?
damage as it originally would have, which could have been quite detrimental onto this Ursaluna.
Nee.
Ice Beam focus does pick up the KO onto the Incineroar, which is of course weak
Aber er hat
to the Ice
die
Type.
Highlight von
And that doesn't matter one little bit because the Incineroar going down, it's done its job, it's got the knockout off, and the Ursaluna going for that
Ja, ich weiß,
facade
ob er
into
mich
the
weiß.
Porygon 2, picking up a
Okay, sehr stark.
huge
Kriegt glaube ich
knockout.
zu
Huge
Knockout.
indeed,
Das ist big.
allowing the board state to immediately
Aber Ursaluna halt schon
for
ein
both of these
bisschen
trainers
low, ne?
in this scenario, allowing them to be able to bring in
muss ja
a
den halt ein bisschen mit
fresh
Rage Powder
Pokémon,
supporten.
but my word,
Aber er kann
Golden
halt
Go losing the choice
alles
specs
Rage powdern,
can
auch
prove
das
to be
andere
quite
Moon ist, was halt
detrimental in
sick
terms
ist.
of its original damage output calculated by Jorijn
Und Make
situation.
Rain killt halt
Yeah, getting
Ursaluna
the
nicht.
knockoff onto that, removing the choice specs before it was able to go for that make-up rain was absolutely huge there and allowing the
Ja,
Ursaluna
Amoonguss kommt
to
rein.
eventually get that facade off, which is so important into
Maybe
Porygon
kann er
2.
hier
Now the
Rage
Amoonguss is
Powder
on
EQ
both sides
drücken.
come back onto the field. We've got the
he
water
was Spore,
type
actually.
on the Jorijn side, and then we have
Spore
the
Protect.
regular Amoonguss on Nils.
And the thing is about the Water Terra Amoonguss over on your own side, it can now be redirected for any sort of focus points of spores or general damage,
keine
which you would
Seed-Class,
like to see, which isn't something you commonly see, but it's great for Nils' positioning.
Yeah, exactly. And that Earthquake as well is hitting for neutral damage on the Amoonguss.
kann Impuls spawnen, ja.
Nils decides to go for that. It's a nice, easy turn here. The Make It Rain
Aber
has
Nils
got
überlegt
the
noch, ob
special
das der
attack
Play
on
ist.
that Goldingo already, so it's not going to be doing as much going into this next turn. You've got to expect the Ursaluna going to be able to survive that and then potentially go
weiß
for
ich
an
nicht.
Earthquake, damaging your own Amoonguss, but it could be an option here.
Oh, but staying in, hoping to be enough to pick up the Ursaluna, but
Ist Nils
not
schneller, ist
quite.
die
Now
Frage.
brought down to -2
Ja,
on his
ist er,
special
okay.
attack, but Nils' Amoonguss does move first, does go for the Spore, and does put asleep that
Das Ding ist,
pesky little Amoonguss
er lebt
over
auch
on
noch
your own side, whilst we have
Dings.
the Headlong Rush. Guaranteeing
Eine
the
Burn-Runde,
KO, bringing your
aber
own
Fake
down
Out
to
ist halt ein
final
Ding.
2 Pokémon.
That's a huge turn here and a further step in the right direction for Nils.
Ich glaube, wir müssen
Picking up a
rauswechseln
big
in
knockout
Flutter
onto that Goldingo, taking the second Make It Rain after that special attack drop.
Und Spore
But
auf
more
Incineroar
importantly,
droppen.
shutting down the Amoonguss on your own side of the field, taking advantage of that terrestrialization there. Going to be susceptible to those spores now and taking full advantage, putting it to sleep. not in action going into this next turn.
Whilst Incineroar does come back onto the field, it has faked out.
Hat er für Mungus Pollenpump oder Sludgebomb? Ich glaube, er kann mit Sludgebomb mit Incineroar einfach killen, ja, und dann rauswechseln. Naja, das ist schon der Play. Das ist es. Die Frage ist jetzt, ob Jorijn das riecht. Das ist eigentlich sehr obvious, aber es ist Nils Play, wenn Jorijn jetzt hier mit Flareblitz in Fluttermane geht.
Yeah, this match isn't over just yet because that Fluttermane does need to wake up. The Ursaluna in a really precarious position where it probably will go down to another
Das ist jetzt
tick.
die Frage, oder geht Jorijn halt auf Fake out? Der kann eigentlich easy mit Flareblitz in den Ursaluna-Slot gehen. Oh, Pepsi Diff. Der gönnt sich jetzt einen Schluck und dann jetzt kommt die Power. Ist over. Sorry, Jorijn. Okay. Er muss eigentlich Flareblitz drücken. Ah, okay. Jorijn, beiseite. Pepsi Diff. Und er lebt. Krass. Crazy. Ich höre sofort was zum Trinken nach der Runde. Das ist schlecht, dass er das gelebt hat. Dann hätte er doch Sport drücken müssen. Subsequent damage from the sludge bomb, the Rocky Helmet recall will be enough to pick up the knockout. So you've really got to pick your target right. Do you go after the Fluttermane here? If you see a Rage Powder to maybe give the Fluttermane a little bit more room, it could be really detrimental in losing the one big offensive threat that you've got. Jetzt kommt halt der Flareblitz. Oh, der lebt! Und er stirbt am Rocky Helmet. Jetzt kommt halt Sludge Bomb auf für Mungus raus. Jetzt ist halt die Frage, wachte Mungus auf? Boah, das wird noch close. Er wacht actually auf. Oh mein Gott.
Aua, das muss so wehtun.
Hä? Was war das für ein Play? Warum hat der Pollenpuff in seinen Slot rein? Nee. Das war ja Quatsch. Der stimmt ja immer, der tötet sich doch immer mit Flareblitz. Pepsi Diff.
Sieht so ernst aus, das ist ja einfach so.
First couple of points would be Nils brought Ursaluna, did not bring Porygon to it, did not bring a dedicated trip remote, he was just more so relying on having the disruption availability from his side, the support Pokemon being the Amoonguss, being the Incineroar with fake out pressure as well, and we saw how important it was that Jorijn did try to focus down, break the structure, which he was able to do it, but at the cost of the Ursaluna being able to be brought in and have the Flame Orb proc.
Ich bin echt gespannt, was das nächste Game sein wird, wo es Competitive gibt und wie dann die Arena aussieht. Ich glaube, alles ist ein Upgrade zu dem.
Im nächsten, wenn ich die Einzelmatches dann auf Raizor VGC hochlade, schreibe ich dann Jorijn vs. Pepsi Man. Ich dachte, er seinen Fuegos langsamer? Nee, niemals. Niemals möglich. Der hat gar nichts gedacht. Nichts hat er da gedacht. Feierabend hat er da im Kopf gemacht.
We saw Nils' Incineroar outspeed the Golden Go, giving a bit of an indication of both of those Pokemon, Incineroar likely being faster and Golden Go being slower.
Yeah, and especially going into this next match as well, because both players have that Incineroar, so if you are Nils going into this next turn and the Incineroar comes out matching yours, you know you can go for the fake out into it because you can shut it down pretty easily because you've got the speed information already, you're outspeeding.
Da war einer, den fand ich auch so cool, der hat uns gespielt, der hieß Timo. T-E-E-M-U. Timo. So wie Timo, der Champ, nur mit U am Ende. Und der hat gegen Tim gespielt. Und dann, wer hat das mal gesagt? Das hat mir irgendwann gesagt. UDT das auch schon gesichert. Timo reagiert auf Timo vs. Tim.
Dedicated form of being able to completely capitalize off of Nils' immediate offensive pressure, or at least its capability of handling a passive lead such as an Incineroar.
The one thing that you could say is, does your Jorijn have access to the, we know it's got the booster energy and the roaring moon, but where is that booster energy? Speed starters activating on the attack stat, because if it is the speed stat, it could get the jump on something like the Fluttermane that was really disruptive in that early game, and then that gives you the outlet to put all the pressure on from your side of the field, where it was kind of the other way round in that match, and then having that outlet there could open the door to nearly almost give you the advantage that you need. You've also got the immunity to the earthquakes as well, but we'll see how things are approached as we get into this game 2.
Game 2 leads on our screens. Nils with Fluttermane Incineroar versus a bit of a change-up over on your own side, being the Incineroar and the Porygon 2, which does get an attack download boost, not its critical special attack it would have liked.
No, not the critical attack that it would have liked, but still in a good position because it does have that poison terrestrialization that it can go for, and then put immediate pressure on that Fluttermane as well as resisting those fairy type attacks. The big thing is here, the Fluttermane in a position where right now it can pretty safely set that substitute. We know the speed interaction between the Incineroars. You can really do what you want. You can go for the fake out into the Incineroar on your own side of the field, or you can go for the fake out into the Porygon 2. But you could maybe even protect the Fluttermane here, reposition with a parting shot onto something like the opposing Porygon 2, allow it to get the Trick Room up, and then maybe drop your own Amoonguss onto the field, which is going to be in a really great position if we do see the dimensions flipped.
I do still like the fact that the Fluttermane is brought in order to act like a sort of cushion point of being able to guarantee a substitute setup in case there is that Amoonguss focus with a Trick Room later on down the line, confirming as we do see it arrive on the field. Fake out, focusing onto the Incineroar on your own side. No fake out coming out from Jorijn's Incineroar itself, but Moonblast being able to bring it down to the point where it has to proc that Citrus Berry.
Yeah, and that's a really nice play there from Nils, identifying that maybe the Porygon 2 isn't in the best of positions. Maybe the Amoonguss comes in from Nils, taking it out of the fray and bringing Jorijn's own Amoonguss onto the field. But by doing that, identifying it, going for the fake out into the Incineroar, getting some really valuable damage onto that side of the field, and now in a position where you can almost go for that protect play here and then position out with your own Incineroar, get your own Amoonguss onto the field.
Yeah, I think being able to already push the aggregate onto Jorijn in terms of that battle of attrition is so key in order to limit the amount of options Jorijn has available to himself, as we do have the first terrestrialization of game 2 being that Grass Terra Incineroar yet again wanting to negate any sort of pesky little spores.
Yeah, great terrestrialization for that reason. We are seeing the substitute come out from the Fluttermane here, protecting against any potential spores. The Flare Blitz though from the Incineroar into the Amoonguss, the Intimidate really helping out there, taking it down to 50% health. The Rocky Helmet, a little bit of chip damage as well, but it does leave the Incineroar on your own field. Open, it predicts it. Go for the huge Flare Blitz into that side of the field, taking massive damage here. And the Amoonguss now left to go for a big attack or a supporting option move if it chooses to.
It could try to target down the Pollen Puff right now if this is a dedicated read for both slots, but no, wanting to at least try to cover for both scenarios. The Grass Terra all remaining on the field and still susceptible to those spores. So a nice little middle ground play from Jorijn. However, you do really need a hard commit in order to slow down this momentum from Nils' side.
Yeah, and the problem is now the Incineroar is probably in range of a double up from a Flare Blitz and a Moonblast here. Now, does the Amoonguss pull that away and protect the Incineroar and allow it to potentially take down the opposing Incineroar that's now a Terra type on Nils' side of the field? Or do you preserve it for later? And we are seeing it just take a break, get that regenerator activated, so come later on in this battle.
As we have Porygon 2, the Snow Frolicker, on the field.
Und das schon das zweite Halbfinale.
Aber gucken kann man not that special attack. Moonblast focus into the Incineroar with the Fluttermane, enough to pick up the KO. And all of a sudden, such an integral piece to that 3 Pokemon core is out of this game 2, putting Jorijn into a bit of the back foot place, especially with that accompanying parting shot, pivot, and bringing the damage output of the Porygon even further below.
Yeah, and look, we are seeing the Ursaluna come onto the field now safely again. When the Amoonguss isn't a threat, to activate that flame orb, so important now, so it isn't going to be susceptible to the sleep. The nice thing that Nils has done here is got that substitute up. It's safe behind that substitute. The Ursaluna in a great position. Flame orb activated. And now if the Porygon 2 does want to go for that terastallization, you can't do it as easy because you are going to be threatened by this big ground type attacks. Goldengo entering the fray for your
I do quite like Goldengo being brought onto the field. It does still have the option of going for that terastallization. We know the Fluttermane will likely try to target it down with a Shadow Ball. It depends if Nils is expecting the Terra or not, because we know Choice Specs does sort of lock it in that spot. We know Amoonguss is already in the back, so regardless, Shadow Ball feels a bit safe in this situation if you at least want to guarantee some sort of damage.
Yeah, that would be really good if you can lock it in, of course, but we are seeing the Protect come out from the Ursaluna here, not one to contend with any damage coming out from potentially a Goldengo this turn, and we do see the Shadow Ball. Is it enough from the Fluttermane? It is not enough. The Goldengo hanging on barely by a thread here. Gonna get that make it rain off, but protected by the substitute. The Fluttermane not going to take the full brunt of this damage here and break it for certain. But the Porygon 2, what is it going to do? Is it going to set up the Trick Room or go after that Fluttermane?
It's a very precarious situation for this Porygon 2, especially when it's having to face down this Ursaluna, not setting up the Trick Room. It does want to still be able to have the speed advantage. However, the fact that we do know the Ursaluna wants to try to gauge the speed interaction is something key here. It is very healthy. It does have that Guts proc at the moment via the Flame Orb, so it's ready for the damage.
Yeah, but the damage has been done to that Goldengo now, not in the greatest position because it's an easy Shadow Ball into that slot now for the Fluttermane. There's no Protect there, so it's an easy target. Even something coming in is going to take a good amount of damage, and we are seeing the Amoonguss take its place on the field after proccing that Regenerator earlier on. How much damage will it do? Well, it will be significant, but it's not enough to pick up the knockout, taking it down to about 40%. The Ice Beam coming out into the Ursaluna.
As it will be looking to try to retaliate with a Facade into the Amoonguss, does guarantee the KO, and this is looking very grim for Jorijn's Pokemon. Nils is taking all of that immediate damage, focus, momentum, straight to Jorijn's door and wanting to try to barge through to the finals.
Yeah, unfortunate here for Jorijn. You can see what he's trying to do, reposition with the Amoonguss, getting punished for that. Nils looking right through it, saying, okay, well, if I target in with the Shadow Ball, yeah, I'll pick up the knockout. I can target in with the Facade. It's not very
Koffein Overload. Wer trinkt so viel Cola?
Der ist so gar nicht mehr anwesend. Das ist nur so eine Hülle von sich selbst.
Which is exactly what happened. We are seeing the Shadow Ball here. It is going to be the final blow into the Goldengo. Nils one step closer into this final.
As Ursaluna is going to look to try and close this one out. Ice Beam just for the additional bit of damage there of retaliation. Facade being the real key player, guaranteeing the 2-hit KO. Moonblast will be more than enough to be able to pick this Porygon 2 up, and so detrimental not having the Trick Room being set up there.
Yeah, so detrimental. You would have went for the last
Aber er hat gerade so
gemacht. Nils Dunlop is your other finalist.
Oh, er hat Emotionen.
European International Championship.
Big
And in what way he's been able to do it